And we are live. Back to you with the NFL look ahead at week 5. We did miss last week, but we are back. And I had a fantastic week in the NFL. Let's just jump right into last week's recap. I ended out 8-4 for 6.5 units last week. A very solid week. Hit a nice little teaser on Sunday, which carried the way. But I felt good about most of my picks last week. My really bad one was Miami again. I fell for the trap 2 weeks in a row. I think I'm just blacklisting that team. I've had enough of them.
Yeah, all the success you had, you took your baggage and gave it to me because I was ice cold through the whole weekend. Like Friday, I was pretty good, and Saturday, college football was a disaster. NFL Sunday was a disaster. I was 2-3 Monday Night Football. That wasn't like so bad. I mean, I was thankful considering how bad I was on Saturday, Sunday, but yeah, ice cold. So.
Yeah, Monday night was not super nice to me, but it was mostly just because of the Miami game. I was on the under in Detroit, which Detroit hit it
Yeah,
themselves.
oh
So
god, yeah,
that's
I was too. But I split both of them, and then I went with that. Fuck, do you say that guy's name? Like Chizim Okonkwo, their Tennessee's
oh
tight
yeah.
end. Yeah, I did him to bet a touchdown. I like to find those guys like plus 300, 400, and that didn't hit. But like I got the over in the Miami game somehow. I don't know how that happened, and then I got the Lions on the side. So like I washed out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I went 1-2. I hit the Lions side as well and bricked out on the Dolphins, who I've done with.
Yeah, dude, they're a joke. Like
That's awful.
it's insane. It's like they don't even like know how football works.
It actually
You
doesn't
know what
make
I
sense.
mean?
It's crazy how bad they are.
Tyler Huntley looked much better than Skylar Thompson / Tim Boyle
He
the week
did.
before, right? But it's like it's not. I don't think it's anybody on the team. I think the plays suck. Like their O line's suspect at best. But I mean, Tyler Huntley's played some meaningful football over the last 2-3 seasons. Like it should have been okay. They looked a little better, but the turnovers were bad, right? And I just the play calling. Like, it was a little better Monday night, but like your best two players were not involved whatsoever the last 2 weeks.
I'm starting
Like
to think it's
against the
that too.
It's like you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I mean, people might say, "Oh, Tyreek Hill's just fast." I like to say it, but it's a joke, right? Like he's obviously really good. Jalen Waddle's really good too. Devon Achane's really good, but like when you're calling pass plays for him, right? It's not like a safety, dump off. Like okay, first look not there, second look not there, third look okay. It's not that. Like they're calling design screenplays for him. It's like you're not going to win any games giving him 30 touches. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you've got two really good wide receivers that he looks to. You
Yeah,
can't
it's been
you can't get the ball 30 times a game and you win. Like it won't
it's
happen.
very much starting to look like a coaching issue, which I never thought
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Like I've always been a big fan of McDaniels, so I very surprised that I think that's what it's coming down to, but it's starting to turn that way.
Yeah, and I don't. It seemed to like flip night and day too, because like I mean,
Yeah.
Tua being out is like I feel like to my knowledge the only real difference they have. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the guys are essentially the same. I feel like unless it's like lineman or out or whatnot, the pass protection's bad, but it's very easy to dial up blitz packages when the quarterback you're playing typically can't throw the ball. Like, of course, you're going to bring pressure. You're going to have a loaded box. They have to run the ball. At least they're trying. You know what I mean? As frustrating as it is to watch, it's like first down. It's like a 2-yard run every time. But as much as like I think McDaniel has some blame in it, it's like at least he's not going away entirely from what makes him good. Like they need to be able to run the ball. But it's like a two-way street, It's like if you can't run the ball, you have to be able to pass the ball, otherwise you can't do anything. And vice versa too. I don't know. It's very, very bizarre because like that offense had no problems last year, and now it looks like
No. There's already been
they lost.
rumors around Tyreek Hill getting moved and them just punting this season because he's in his contract year. So
Why? Yeah, that's
we
a
might see
valid
that. Like,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a totally viable point. Like they're horrible. They're horrible
Yeah.
with them. You know, and it's like he's had like 15 touches the last 3 weeks, and that might be a little too much. Like it's crazy. Jalen Waddle's suffering even worse, and it's like, oh, we have Devon A-Chain. No, I had 12 catches and 20 carries, and we lost by 30. What's going on?
It's
I'm
really
not
bad.
seeing things either. Like they're actually calling plays like in the passing game for him, which makes no sense when
Yeah.
you have those two receivers on your team.
Yeah.
Like once in a while, sure, but like that Bills game was insane.
It's
Yeah.
bad, dude. I have no words for what they look like. Like they're astonishingly bad. They're just a really bad football team right now.
Mm-hmm. But they got that over for me. That was cool.
They're dead. They
Tried
did.
just enough. That was cool. I got pretty pissed though. I turned everything off. I'm like, this week, and then I checked when I was done. It's like, oh, got the over by 2 points.
All right. Let's jump into week 5 action. The Thursday night game, the Buccaneers are headed to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Falcons are laying 1.5 after the Buccaneers just beat down the Eagles. That was my favorite play of the week last week. Super easy. I was also on the Falcons. I got beat on the hook. They had marched down the field with a minute left to kick the game-winning field goal to win by 2. I had 2.5. This line is so suspect. I mean,
Falcons.
it's the Falcons.
Yeah, but like you mentioned what you did last week, I did the exact opposite things of you. But I feel like the read was the same. It just worked in one spot, not the other. Like the Eagles were a road favorite despite having no one play offense. Like Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert, I think at one point had like 90% of the total yards of the team. So I think my
Yeah,
read
see,
was right. Like
I
it
took it
didn't
because they
work
just
out.
I took it because the Bucks had just gotten thumped by the donkeys.
Yeah, see, that was kind of a good point too. It was just like
Yeah.
maybe
That
that
was why
wasn't quite the spot to target, but
that was how I saw it. That's why I took it.
hmm yeah, and I think that was valid too. I mean, like looking back, I think I just like didn't need to do that, even though like in my head that read was right. But I got the Falcons too. Like everybody was on the same, or everyone was on the Falcons. That one.
Yeah.
Like that was one where I was like I had to be patient too because like they kind of goofed a little bit, but like it was never so far out of the way where it wasn't like feasible for them to win, get alone cover. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
this is definitely this is a
Falcons.
Falcons line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially I like the narrative where like the public team burns everybody the week before, and then like everyone's like, oh fuck that team, I want to fade them.
Yeah. Well,
And the book,
especially with that win, the Bucks
mm-hmm.
just that score isn't even they won by 17. I don't even think that score is indicative. I mean, the Bucks were up
Yeah,
28 to 6 at one point.
it looked like for a minute the Eagles might get back into it, but then they immediately gave up another
Yeah.
touchdown. And I was thinking too, it was like, oh, that playoff game last year was kind of the same scenario, right? And it's like, oh, Eagles pick them. But yeah, I kind of just ate the trash. But I do like the Falcons. It does scare me because I think the Bucks are actually just really good. But
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think so too.
like they're really good. But I
Yeah.
guess we'll see. But I will probably be betting on the Falcons.
Yeah, me as well. First game on Sunday. I believe this one is in London, if I'm not mistaken. It's the
Yeah,
Jets and Vikings. The Vikes are laying 2.5 after what was more or less a beatdown of the Packers. I mean, I know the Packers
kind of. Yeah, it was
sort
weird,
of.
dude.
It was really weird. Yeah, they thumped them early. The Packers kind of came back. Packers probably should have won. They missed a whole bunch of field goals, but
I
damn, dude,
won't
the
say
Vikings look.
that. I won't say that. I mean, he missed 2 field goals, but some pretty bad second half defense out of the Vikings.
Yeah,
And good execution by the Packers. Like in our group chat, I was saying it's like, well, that game was really ugly for 30 minutes, but as many bad things as there were, like there were some good things to take away too. Like it would have been really easy for them to just be like, "Ah, fuck it, next week."
yeah,
And
and
they
the
they
Jets.
they played.
Yeah. The Jets coming off a 10-9 loss to the Donkeys, just a disgusting game at home. Greg the Leg Zerline missed a 45-yarder very far wide right to lose.
Yeah, he sucks. I'm laughing.
That whole team
He sucks.
sucks. The Vikes are laying 2.5. I know it's going to be crazy public because the Vikings are undefeated and the Jets just lost to the Donkeys.
Yeah,
I'm going to
you
go the
gotta.
Vikings. I think the Jets
Yeah,
just stink. I
I don't think so. I'm probably gonna just take the Jets, and I'll be mad when the Vikings win. The Vikings just seem to come through every week, but I'm gonna be betting the Jets.
First full game on Sunday, Panthers Bears in Chicago. Bears are laying 4. I hit the Bears last week -2.5 against the Rams, and the Panthers did not cover against the Bengals, but they were kind of in that game for a sneaky long time.
Yeah, I mean they
I'm
got away from them for a little bit, and they played
yeah
pretty good in the fourth quarter. So
yeah I'm gonna lay the
uh,
points here with the Bears. They looked pretty solid last week. They definitely looked rough early, but to me, it's not the defense. It's whether or not they score enough, and I don't think they're going to have trouble scoring against the Panthers. So I'm going to lay the points.
no, I don't think so either. Their run game came alive finally. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
injured Rams team, so I'm not sure how much to look into it. I mean, I'm not betting the Panthers, so no play for me. Bears will probably cover. Leave it at that.
We got a divisional matchup: Ravens Bengals. The Bengals are home dogs, catching 2.5. The Ravens thumped the Bills by 25 last week, and the Bengals took care of business, put the Panthers away late, won by 10. This is a really weird one for me because the Bengals have not looked good in any game. They've looked good on drives, but they haven't put together a full game
Yeah,
yet, and
full
I
game.
just have not been impressed with them. I don't know. I think eventually it's got to click for them, and I think a lot of people are going to be on the Ravens with how they just beat the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the
I would
Bengals
agree.
here. I'm going to
Yeah,
take
you and
the
me
home
will.
dog.
Yeah, you and me will probably both be playing that one.
Yeah.
It's a game they're going to get up for too. Like those rivalry games in the AFC North are, something special, something different. So I like the Bengals too. I'd
Yeah,
like to
definitely.
see it move out to 3, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe not. If it does, I'll probably take it there.
Yeah,
I'll 100% take it at a field goal. We got Bills Texans. The Texans are also home dogs coming off a 4-point win against the Jags where they did not cover, and the Bills got smoked like the Ravens, like we just mentioned. This is another tough one for me. The Texans, I think I mentioned preseason, I really thought they were going to take a step back this year, and they definitely have.
yeah, I think you'd be right to say that at this point.
Yeah, the Bills just also do not look that good. Like they look really good, and then they look really bad.
No, I think you
It's
could make a
like,
case for them like Sunday afternoon that they were like currently the best team in the league, and then like Sunday night happened, and then everyone's probably like, "Oh my God, we were wrong." Because like the Bills
yeah,
had looked like the best team in the NFL up to that point, minus the Vikings, but like no one expected the Vikings to be any good, so it was kind of a surprise. The Bills were still kind of, people thought no wide receivers might be a little bit of a down year, but like there are still some expectations there. I think Sunday night ruined all of that for them. Like at least in the public's perception, I think it's a great spot to buy the Bills.
I would agree. I was about to say I'm going to take the Bills -1 here. I think it's a really good
Yeah.
bounce back spot. Um, that's probably also a bet for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree.
Pushing on. Yeah, pushing on. We got the Colts and Jags. The Jags actually looked competent last week. They're laying 3 points against the Colts at home, and they covered last week. And I'm going to buy into them this week. Trevor Lawrence looked a little bit better. Maybe they're
Don't
starting to
like
figure
this.
some things out. I'm going to lay the
I
3
don't.
with the Jags. It's
I don't
gross.
like it. I don't
I
like it at
definitely will not
all.
be betting it, but I'm going to lay the points with the
No, yeah,
Jags.
I think your read's right too. But what's the deal with Richardson?
I haven't seen any reports yet. He did exit the game with, I think, an
Yeah,
ankle is what it was.
ankle or hip? Yeah,
I
Joe
haven't,
Flacco
or
likes
hip.
to
Yeah, it
use
was his
that.
hip. I haven't seen anything yet, so I have no idea if he's playing or not. I assume that this is factored in as he is not playing.
Nah, I don't know. I mean,
I can't tell either. I mean, that line looks right to
I
me. I mean,
don't know why he's not good. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not.
is Joe Flacco really that much worse than Anthony Richardson right now? Like, I don't really
No,
think it
he's
makes a
probably
difference.
better. Well, I mean, athletically, no. Like, you can do a lot more with Anthony Richardson.
Well, yeah.
That dude does not take care of the football.
No.
Like, yeah. Side note, when he got drafted, I feel like everyone was like, "What is this? Like, why?" Like, he wasn't even good in college. Oh, but he can throw really far. It's like, what good is it if you throw to the wrong team 40% of the time? It makes no sense.
He's just one of those guys that you can dream on. Like, he's a freak athlete. He's just one of those guys
I'm
you
not
take
trying
and
to
just
take
like
anything away from him at
yeah.
all, but like, it doesn't make any sense. You're putting unrealistic expectations on
Yeah.
a guy who's just not
I mean, it's
developed
really
enough as
it was
an
really
NFL
like
quarterback.
it was really a pipe dream pick. Like, you're really hoping that it
Yeah.
just works out and he hits his ceiling and he is just a freak, which he could be, but it's turning out not well
I
at this
mean,
point, which still early.
he's clearly talented. It's just like he's so mistake prone. And sure, he's young, right? But like, I don't know. It's not even just he throws interceptions and fumbles. He puts himself at risk. You know, like this is the second season and he's played what, 7 games.
Yeah.
Like, that play style
Like that,
works
yeah.
to a point. Like, he's a big guy. So is Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's gonna get his clock clean one of these times, and all that shit's gonna stop. Josh Allen's the same way. He's not a fantastic passer. Throws the ball really far, but he'll turn it over once in a while, more than once in a while. I mean, they're arm punts, but I don't know. I just never got the pick. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think like it's a really hard one to justify because they started him right away. Like, if they had a good
there's
QB
no reason to do
situation,
that.
yeah, he's a guy that definitely had to sit behind somebody for a couple of years.
They all should. Why do you think
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes any good? You watched
I
watched
agree.
Alex Smith. It's like all he has
Yeah.
to do is take a few years. Like, look at Jordan Love. Packer fans thought that pick was fucking horrible, myself included. Wasn't that bad. I mean, does he still have a lot of room to grow, room to improve? Absolutely. But like, watching helps. Like, it really does. The
Yeah.
whole throw him in right away doesn't typically work. Like, look at Trevor Lawrence. Everyone thought Trevor Lawrence was going to take some strides, and he did last year, and now it seems to have, completely reversed course.
Yeah.
Watching that is a benefit for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't pay me the big bucks.
Pushing on, we got Dolphins, Patriots. The Patriots are laying 1. I'm not doing it. It's the Patriots. I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to say it's the Patriots, but I'm not doing it.
But yeah, no, I'm not touching it.
Not doing it.
Fuck the Dolphins.
I think it's the Dolphins, but I'm not doing it. I've had enough of them too. Yeah, they're blacklisted.
Yeah. Until further notice, they're blacklisted by this entire podcast. I will not take that team anymore.
No, done. DONE.
Yep. Browns, Commanders. The Commanders are laying 3.5. I'm gonna take the Commanders here. I think the Commanders are for real. Jane Daniels is a certified stud. Like, that team, I think, is just crazy good. And I know they're coming off a short. I mean, they were dogs last week to the Cardinals, and they beat them by 28. Yeah, they smoked them.
Yeah.
And the Browns are coming off a loss at the Raiders, so obviously it's. I mean, I don't really know what to make of it because the Commanders have kind of just been dogs all year, and now it's like they're getting respect out of the book. So now I think it's still a good time to buy on them. So I'm gonna go with the Commanders here. Don't know if I'd bet it, but
see, I kind of like the Browns here just because it's like, based on the way each of these teams have been playing. What are the Browns, 2-2? I feel like they're very lucky to be 2-2. So
yeah.
I feel like just the perception of each team is really different. And to me, it's like the Commanders seem really short. You look at who they've played the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm right about this. I don't care what anyone else says. The Cardinals are shit. Like, I said that week 1, everyone's like, "Oh, Kyler Murray's back." It's like, they're still horrible. Like, they were horrible with him. They were just dumpster horrible without him. Like, they still suck. Bengals, jury's still out on them. I'm not willing to say they suck yet. I think they're notoriously slow starters anyways. But I mean, they've had some good wins. They play good football. So like to me, it's like this is a little short. Like I feel like they should be 4, 5, 6. If it was that long, I feel like it would be a commander spot.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not very compelled to bet this game.
No, me either. 3:00 slate. We got the Raiders heading into Denver, where the Donkeys are laying 2.5, coming off a 1-point road win against the Jets, and the Raiders are coming off a 4-point home win against the Browns. This is a divisional rivalry game. Both teams are going to be up for it. I mean, Bo Nix did not look good last week by any stretch of the imagination. That whole game was a dumpster fire. I didn't really catch any of the Raiders game, so I don't really know what to say, but they did beat the Browns by 4. I'm going to go with the Raiders here. I just don't think the Broncos should be laying points against anybody. I don't think last week's win, based on how that game was played, is enough to say they should be laying points.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is one where you can kind of just watch the splits a little bit and see what's going on. I can't imagine too many people would be buying the Broncos, so I would have to agree with you there.
Yeah. Next 3:00 game, Cardinals, Niners. The Cardinals were home favorites last week. They got thumped by Washington, and the Niners, I don't believe, covered. Correct? No, they did cover. They thumped the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Niners are laying 7. I'm going to lay the 7 again with the Niners. I laid it last week. They had 2 really bad home losses as favorites early in the season. I took them last week as kind of a bounce back spot, more of like there's no way they do it 3 times in a row kind of thing. They didn't. I think it's going to be very similar here. Going to keep selling the Cardinals right now. I'm going to take the Niners -7. Probably wouldn't bet it, but I like the spot.
No, I think I agree with that too. They look better. They
look much better.
Back to their usual selves, minus McCaffrey.
Yeah. Packers-Rams. Packers are laying 3 points on the road to the Rams. This is a tough one for me. I took the Vikings last week in that game as dogs, so got that. And the Rams are laying 3. I don't really like this game. I mean,
yeah, I don't think so either. Like the Rams,
I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, the Rams have kind of looked really bad, so it's like, do I really want to buy them? And it's like the Packers looked, okay, short of 1/2 and missed field goals and turnovers, and it's like I don't know if I want to really back them either because like missed field goals are big, especially in like a game is probably going to be a bit of a stinker, I would think. So, I mean, I'll just be the homer and say Packers get right here, but I don't think I would bet that.
No, I wouldn't either, but I would agree. I think it's a better spot, maybe a bounce back spot for Jordan Love because he looked really rough in the first half. I know he put together a couple of solid drives in the second half, but I would think this is a decent buy spot to buy the Packers. They've just had a weird season. Like they're 2-2, and they've lost twice with Love and won twice with Malik Willis. So it's like, it's not necessarily buying the Packers. It's like you're buying back on Jordan Love.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it.
That's the way how I see it, anyways. This is not a game I'll probably play. So it's. We got Jake's favorite team, the G-Men, taking on the Seahawks. The Seahawks are laying 6.5. The Giants are coming off of not covering. Well, maybe they pushed depending on what number you got. If you had 4.5, they did not cover for you. If you got 5, they pushed for you last week. And the Seahawks, what did they do last week? Oh, they just played the Lions. They got smoked. I mean, the Giants. It's the Giants. Not betting it. I don't at this point, I don't like betting either of these teams. These are 2 teams that I wait for spots to fade them in. But yeah, I agree. This isn't a game I would touch.
No, that's not fair. They don't suck, but next game.
Sunday Night Football. the Cowboys and Steelers, and the Steelers are laying 2.5. The Cowboys just beat the Giants by 5.
I'm back on the Steelers.
And the Steelers just lost to the Colts. I think I'm back on the Steelers too, minus 2.5 at home. I like the spot again.
Yeah, I mean, Boswell missed that field goal, and there was some pretty atrocious officiating down the stretch in that Colts game. Like, Colts were pretty lucky to win that game.
Yeah.
Like, I think that phantom Minka Fitzpatrick pass interference penalty was on third down, so they'd be getting the ball back. So I'm saying they would have won, but they could have won.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Steelers. This is probably a game I'll bet Sunday Night Football. I tend to bet it, so I'll be looking at the Steelers. Monday Night Football, we only got one game this week. Thank God. I hate the 2-game sets on Monday Night Football.
I like it occasionally, not every week. Yeah, just like sprinkle it in, mix it in.
It pisses me off because the games start 20 minutes apart. It's like I don't.
Yeah, they did it like 6:30 and 8, but then you're up too late. So
yeah, still
I don't know. Like I'm okay with it every couple weeks. Like mix it in, not all.
Yeah. But we got Saints Chiefs. The Chiefs are laying 5.5 at home. The Saints covered last week. I guess it's hard to say that they shouldn't have covered because they probably should have just won outright. It's crazy that the Falcons beat them on the last minute drive again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the Saints here, plus 5.5. They've been pretty good against the spread this year. The Chiefs tend to not be very good against the spread. No, and they tend to not be very good against the spread in the regular season, especially as favorites. I would take the Saints at 5.5 here. Yeah.
I would agree. I don't care how square it is. I'd probably bet this over.
I would agree with that.
This game could be fun, but if I bet the over, it won't be. So I probably won't.
Just don't stay away from it.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show, folks. That's the whole slate for Thursday through Monday of NFL Week 5. We'll be back tomorrow with the college football look ahead for Week 6. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be back into a rhythm on these, getting these out every single week. So stay tuned. Hopefully you're cashing in alongside us because we've been having a pretty successful NFL season so far. So stay tuned. We're going to keep it rolling throughout the season, and we will see you next week.